Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again for another travel video. This one is going to be really information heavy. I hope it's not too long. I just have so much I want to say on the topic. So you probably can tell from the title that this is going to be all about booking a Disney cruise, and also I'm hoping to get in transportation information getting to your Disney cruise. And this one is going to be specific to Port Canaveral in particular. It's going to change. Transportation to each cruise is different. The way that we got to our cruise in San Diego was honestly like a huge win on my part, and I'm super proud of it, but definitely 100% different than how we got to our cruise in Port Canaveral at Cape Canaveral. So this is a very specific video for the transportation, but the booking is the same regardless. It is kind of the same process every time. There are a couple of differences from cruise to cruise, but in general, the booking does stay the same. The transportation does change. Like once you get to the location, there's just different processes, and each location is different. So that'll look different. It'll be very specific to Port Canaveral and in Orlando. But I hope this information helps you. A lot of the cruises, a lot of the itineraries do leave from Cape Canaveral and go to the Bahamas, go to Mexico. So this is going to apply to a lot of Disney cruises in particular. So without further ado, let's get started. It is going to be very wordy, and I apologize for that in advance. My next video I'm planning, I'm hoping that it's going to be a lot less of that, just more so like enjoying and hearing about stories about what we did on our cruise. But yeah, I apologize for the crazy amount of information, but I feel like it's really important information. I feel like some of these processes that Disney has are a little bit confusing if you're doing it for your first time. So I really hope that this helps you guys and helps you if you want to book a Disney cruise, helps you to overcome some of those hurdles and mitigate any of the problems that might arise. I hope that this video helps you with those things. So let's get started. I did make a lot of notes, so I'm going to be looking at my computer for this so that I have some sort of reference. So the thing I want to start out with is just kind of explaining to you guys why we as two adults with no kids book Disney cruises in particular. This, as you know, is our second Disney cruise. We went on one earlier this spring in San Diego, going to Mexico. And this one that we went on most recently was a 4-night cruise leaving from Port Canaveral going to the Bahamas. And the reason why we like to do a Disney cruise is because we're just a couple looking to relax, looking for a vacation that is not really crazy. We're wanting to have something that is very chill. And a Disney cruise is the place to go for that. I don't know about a lot of other cruises. I haven't been on other cruises, so maybe I'm a bit biased in that way. And I'm sure there's people out there who have had different experiences and could probably prove me wrong, but my impression of other cruise lines is that it is a lot of drinking, it is a lot of partying and gambling. And not to say any of those things are bad at all, but it's just not what me and my husband are looking for on our vacations together. If we were going with friends, that would be completely different. If we were going with a group of people, completely different story. We probably would be willing and open to looking into different cruise lines, but for our sake, We want to have a very chill, family-friendly time, and that's what Disney Cruise Line offers to us. That kind of leads me into my next point, where the entertainment options are very family-friendly and not crazy, not risque, and something that we can enjoy in a chill way. Just our whole vibe when him and I go on cruises is that, or go on vacation rather, is that we're having a very chill, relaxing time, and that's a part of it. We really enjoy the entertainment. Disney has very high quality entertainment standards. Their shows are Broadway quality shows. Like, it's very, very, very good. So another reason that we like to go on a Disney cruise is that we feel like Disney does a really good job of giving adults only options. So even though we don't have kids, we can take advantage of those adults only things on the cruise. And that's honestly so amazing, because Disney does a really good job of providing areas for families, areas for kids, but also areas for adults only. And they are wanting to cater to when your kids are away, the adults have an area to go to and enjoy as well. So we get to take advantage of all of those things even though we don't have kids. So that's really, really nice. So some examples of that are all the bar options. There are various bars throughout the ship, and that's really nice. There were more on this ship that we ended up going on this time than there was last time, so that was really good. We really enjoyed that. Another thing is that they have adults only entertainment in the evening. So you can go to adults only drawing classes, adults only trivia, adults only game shows, etc., etc. And those are really fun to attend as well. There are various classes you can attend. So there's drink tastings and mixology classes. I will go into more detail on those things later in a later video, because I do not have time for that today at all. I have a lot of information to get through. And so that's just a couple of things that you can take advantage of. Another thing that I really like about a Disney cruise is that the cast members are so phenomenal, so fantastic. I don't think that I have received a customer service experience like I do when I go on a Disney cruise in particular. They just go above and beyond and completely out of their way to make your experience special, and that's what I really love. I think that I don't know how it is on other cruises, like I said before, because I haven't been on any, but I just know that on a Disney cruise, I know what the standards are, I know what to expect, and I know I'm getting phenomenal customer service throughout the entire experience that I don't think I will ever experience anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong, this might be the case on other cruises as well, but I just have so many good things to say about the cast members. They are fantastic. If you grew up with Disney like I did, then the magical vibes of anything Disney, Disney World, Disneyland, anything Disney involved, just the immersive experiences that you get while you're there is priceless. It's so worth it. You get such magical vibes. I honestly go to Disney for those magical vibes. It's very nostalgic for me. I grew up with Disney as a kid. I cruised with Disney as a kid. My parents took me on a Disney cruise when I was 5 years old. So it's a very special place for me. We went to Disneyland, Disney World growing up. I'm very, very lucky to have those experiences, and I just feel so, so lucky that I'm able to go back and relive those experiences, specifically with my husband, who wasn't able to do it when he was a kid. So he really enjoys like the enjoyment and the joy that I get from it, and then he also has that enjoyment and joy as well. We also really like rides, so it's just fun for us to go to these places and get to experience these rides that are unlike anything else that you're gonna experience anywhere else, because Disney does such a phenomenal job of making the experiences immersive, and that's really important to me. That's what I notice is different from anywhere else that you'll go. The last thing I want to mention before I move on to all the intricacies of booking your Disney cruise is that we choose Disney because when you're on the Disney cruise, it honestly just feels like you're with family. It's such a community. It's a group of people that is so trusting, and I feel like that is the case on a lot of cruises as well, but it just feels so special when you're on a Disney cruise and you're experiencing that warmth and that just camaraderie of being with people who are interested in the same things and are there for the same reasons, and it's just very, very fun. So a couple things that I'll mention a little bit later on, but I'll just tell you about now, is that when we went on our first Disney cruise, we obviously didn't really know anything, but we noticed that people were decorating your door with magnets. That's something that we really wanted to do this time, and we were able to do. We got a magnet customized, and so that was really fun for us. I'll go more into this in a later video, but also something to keep in mind. It's just fun things that you get to do with your community while you're there. And yeah, that's just something that we really like about the Disney cruise in particular. So now you are ready to book your Disney cruise. You decide that Disney is the right move for you. You feel like these things that I mentioned, or even other things that you've heard from other people, are have led you to book with Disney. So now I'm gonna go into like all the logistics, which is, it can be a lot of booking a Disney cruise. One tip that I want to recommend to you right off the hop is that please, please, please take advantage of the deals. Some people say like it's not the best option to do, but in my experience, I've never had a problem taking advantage of the deals that are available to you. So if you go onto the Disney Cruise Line website and you go to plan a cruise, you will see the special offers tab. Click on the special offers and just take a look. If you're not picky about your itinerary, this is really the place to be, because you know you want to cruise with Disney, but you're not super picky about what dates or the location, then this is something to check out. Currently right now, there is a couple of deals. One of the ones that we've taken advantage of for both of our cruises now was the Canadian residence deal. Obviously, if you're in Canada, you know that the exchange rate is absolutely horrendous, and so saving 20% on a Disney cruise is the way to go. It is so beneficial. Currently, there is a save 20% on select sailings for everybody. Everyone has the opportunity, and my assumption on this is that these are sailings that Disney is trying to fill up. Obviously, not as popular as they were hoping, so then they're trying to get more people to book these sailings, which is completely reasonable and very beneficial for us. And then Florida residents, obviously, they save up to 20% on select Caribbean cruises, because that is what most of, actually I think all of the sailings from Port Canaveral and Fort Lauderdale, and those are the ones that are going to the Caribbean, to the Bahamas, to Mexico. Australia and New Zealand sailings have a very, very good deal on right now, 30% off select sailings. So if you're from Australia or New Zealand, definitely check those out. Or if you're going to Australia and New Zealand and you want to book a cruise with Disney, definitely worth a look for sure. I did check these out because I am interested in going to Australia and New Zealand at some point in time in the future, and I just found that most of these cruises like go out to sea and then come directly back, which is really interesting. And a lot of them are quite long. Like there's a 15, oh, this one's to Honolulu, never mind. Like a 6-night Magic at Sea cruise. So that's pretty long to like be at sea and not have any ports of call. So I thought that was very interesting, but yeah, definitely something to look into. Another thing is that there's a limited time offer where you pay 50% of the required deposit at the time of booking. So I'll go into deposits a little bit later on, but it's also something that's a benefit too. You don't have to pay as much upfront if you don't want to. And then another thing that I noticed that is new that I was kind of bummed that I missed out on. It's not something that was available to us for our cruise in particular, but I think it is for 2025 sailings, if I am not mistaken, is under, actually not under the special offers tab right now, at least not on the Canadian site. It is under the Cruise with Disney and then the What's New tab. It says Disney Plus subscriber special offer. So if you subscribe to Disney Plus, then there are a couple of benefits that you can get. One of them is that kids sail for 50% off on select cruises. Now, if you're a family, that can mean a lot. That could mean if you have multiple kids, that could mean kids going for free. So that's phenomenal. Definitely something worth checking out if that is something you are interested in taking advantage of. Let me just go into this a little bit more. My cat is purring like crazy. She's so cute. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, yes. I think my cats get very confused when I film and then I'm talking to myself. Yeah, so from what I can see, that is the only thing that you get if you're a Disney Plus subscriber at the moment. I did see something somewhere about a $100 credit on board, which would be honestly so great because there are a lot of things that you have to pay for on board if you are planning on having any kind of alcohol beverages, or if you're planning on going to any extra, I don't know if this is included, but like going to any extra dining above and beyond your dining package. And then also if you're going to like any like drink tastings or anything like that, anything extra that you need to book on a Disney cruise, like that $100 can go quite a long ways. So I don't know if that's true or not. I will have to look more into that and get back to you. So don't take my word for that right now, but I did see something somewhere about it. So maybe that's on select cruises, I'm not sure. That is a huge deal if you're a Disney Plus subscriber. At the moment, select cruises, available from January 3rd, 2025 through June 13th, 2025. You can, if you book by February 16th, 2025, you can take advantage of the 50% off on select cruises for kids. So that's amazing. So definitely go over those deals if you're planning on booking with Disney, and make sure you take advantage of those if you can. So now let's go into the different types of staterooms available on a Disney cruise. So there's 3 different sections of a Disney cruise. First off, there is the forward, the midship, and the aft. Each part of the cruise ship does have elevators unless you are on the Wish or the Treasure, which I believe does not have midship elevators. So that's something to keep in mind. The aft and the forward of the ship are both, I think, going to have probably the most amount of movement if you are sensitive to motion sickness or anything like that. I think those 2 parts of the ship have kind of the most amount of movement. Your midship is going to be your most steady, if that's something that is a factor for you. The aft and the forward are, from what I've seen from researching different itineraries, are usually your cheaper options. So when you are booking, you will see that a cruise is going to start from a base rate. And so that is your base rate for your cheapest room. And each room kind of varies. It varies by room type, it varies by part of the ship, but just keep in mind that those base rates are for inside rooms, probably in the aft or the forward of the ship. Midship does run a little bit more expensive, it tends to, but that's not always the case for every cruise line. So just do your research in that sense. And when you see a rate, when you're looking through different itineraries, just keep that in mind, that that's your base rate for your inside room. The first type of room is obviously, like I said, an inside room. Your inside room does not include a view to the outside. It is going to have either a porthole shape, either with a screen or with a mirror. And the screen is going to show you a view from the bridge, which is essentially just the control room of the ship. They have a camera that shows you what the view is outside. And then some of them have like little characters that'll come across the screen every once in a while, and it's really cute for kids. It is the most economical room. Just keep in mind that it can be disorienting for some to be in the middle of the ship without a view from the outside, and not every ship it has those porthole rooms where you see the screen, where with the ability to kind of see the outside. A lot of them do have just a mirror depending on the ship that you're going on. So keep that in mind as well if you're going to book an inside room. But it definitely is the most economical option if you're feeling like you're on a budget and you want to stick to that budget. And you're not even, maybe you're not even going to be in your room very often, so it doesn't really matter to you and you're not bothered by any kind of motion sickness or anything like that, then definitely that's the room for you for sure. So the next type of room is an ocean view room. So you do have in these ocean view rooms, there are two options. Either you're gonna have a very large porthole or you're gonna have two portholes. Now on our first cruise that we went on, we had the large porthole option. This was super nice. It was a very economical option, very affordable, but then you also had the view of the outside. We were on the second floor, very low down. That's another thing to keep in mind, is based on where you are in the ship, there's going to be different movements. So if that's something that affects you, then just kind of like maybe look into that a little bit more and see what the best option is for you. We were on deck 2 for our first cruise, so very low down, and we had a big porthole, and it was really nice to see the outside. We often saw wildlife, which was really nice. We saw a lot of seals, we saw dolphins. That was a very fun experience for us, and we felt like just being able to see the outside was really important to us, and we never even thought that a veranda was really necessary in this case. There's a lot of places on the ship where you can go where you can be outside for the whole day, whole night, whatever you want, really. You're essentially just sleeping in your stateroom and relaxing when you want to relax before dinner or whatever. But that is the ocean view stateroom. That's going to be a little bit more expensive than your inside stateroom, and then you get that view of outside. Your next type of room is your veranda room. Now this is the room that you get the door to the outside. You have your own private balcony. It just makes you feel like you're having a little bit of a luxury experience, and you get to have the fresh air whenever you want. That's one thing with the portal room, is that you do not get to open that window at all. It is just sealed as you would expect. Whereas with the veranda, you can go outside anytime that you like and experience the ocean and what's going on your sail. So that's really fun, and something we got to experience on this last cruise that we went on. It is more expensive, but on some sailings it's not overly expensive, so it's definitely something to look into. Some of them are really expensive. I've looked into an Alaska cruise with Disney, and those veranda rooms run very, very expensive compared to your porthole rooms, and that is because people want to be outside experiencing the wildlife, experiencing the views of Alaska on those trips. So it's totally understandable, but just be aware of that and look out for those itineraries, and book a veranda room when it makes sense for you guys to book a veranda room. For us this time, it made sense. It wasn't that much more expensive than a porthole room, so we were able to experience the veranda for not that much more, which was really, really exciting for us to be able to have that experience. And then your next step is your concierge rooms. These rooms run for a lot of money. If you are wanting to splurge and treat yourself, or maybe you're going with a bigger group of people and you're able to split that money up, then this is the stage for you. But these, just keep in mind, these are a big jump from your verandas even. These concierge rooms are your luxury rooms, and you pay a pretty penny for them, absolutely. So you get a lot more benefits from the concierge rooms. If you want me to do a more in-depth video of the concierge rooms, I'm open to doing that, but I don't think I'll ever be able to experience a concierge room because they are just so outrageously priced, in my opinion. And I think that yeah, if you are able to experience that, that is amazing for you, and I'm so happy for you, because that, like, they are just like a next level of luxury, in my opinion. Okay, so that is everything when it comes to the different types of rooms. So when you're going to book, there's a little bit of difference between each itinerary when you're going to book. Some of the itineraries you're going to see for our last cruise, we kind of picked like the area of the ship we wanted to be in. I think we might have picked the deck. We didn't have very many options in that case, but we did not pick the exact room of where we were going to be. That is something to keep in mind, that some of the itineraries you won't be able to pick your exact room, but you'll probably be able to pick kind of where you are on the ship. This last cruise we were on, we picked our exact place we wanted to be on the ship. We picked midship both times. We picked the floor we wanted to be on, and we even got to pick the stateroom we wanted to be in. If you want to do some more in-depth research into what your stateroom view is, you can do that. There's different websites, different forums where people post pictures from their stateroom, and then you get to see what the view is. If there's any obstructions or anything like that, you'll be able to learn that on those forums. So once you've figured out what room you will be staying in and you've hit book on your trip, make sure that you download the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app and add your trip to the app. You're not able to do too much on the app before you go on the cruise. A lot of it is once you get to the port, you'll be able to log on to the Disney Wi-Fi, and then you'll be able to do a lot more and see your whole itinerary and everything that's going on the ship on the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. This is going to be the place that is the most important for you to go for any information that you need while you're on your cruise. But it's definitely something to download early and put your itinerary on. It gives you all your updates on your payments that you need to make, where your account balance is at and all that beforehand. And it is where you're gonna have like a little cute countdown before you go on your cruise. So it's just a fun thing to have. Once you book, just make sure you add your itinerary and then you have all of that there. You will be able to see a very brief itinerary too, but it's not going to be in detail at all. And then once you book your other things that you want to do on your cruise, you'll be able to see that there as well. So it's definitely something to download early and make sure you have, so that, and also get familiar with it. So you know what you're doing when you're on your cruise and you're not learning it as you go. One thing that I would recommend is that you log onto your Disney account. I think it's called My Disney, your My Disney account on the Disney Cruise Line website, and check that out kind of throughout your waiting period before your cruise. Make sure, go through your itinerary in detail, go through all of the port adventures beforehand. They will have a list of your options if you want to do port adventures, so like your snorkeling, there's all kinds of options there for you. Make sure you take a look at those before you're able to book, so that you know what, or have an idea of what you might want to do when the booking day arrives. Depending on your Castaway Club membership level, that is when you get to book your different port adventures. That is when you get to, I believe that's when you get to book your different restaurants and stuff too, if you want to do any of those additional adults only dining. I believe that's when, depending on your Castaway Club membership, I think that you get access to that earlier. I'm not 100% sure, but I know for sure if you are in the silver or gold or pearl, platinum or pearl? Oh no, I don't remember the levels. But if you're in one of those tiers, then you have different days that you can book. Now, when do you become a Castaway Club member? That is when you complete your first sailing. So for this sailing, my husband and I were in the silver membership because we had completed one sailing, and now we were part of the Castaway Club, which is really exciting, and we got a little bit of benefits from that. So I'll go over that later. That is just like completely too much information for today. I'm already going way overboard with how much I'm giving you guys today. This is going to be a very, very long video. I apologize. Another thing you can do when you log into your My Disney account on the Disney Cruise Line website is you can add your Magic Bands or your Disney Bands. Now, if you have gone to Disney World or Disneyland and bought Magic Bands, Magic Band Pluses, from those locations, you can use these on the Disney cruise. And this is going to do the exact same thing as your Key to the World cards are going to do. So when you get onto the Disney cruise, you are going to get a room key, and that is also just like all of your information, so that if you leave the ship and come back on, you use that to get on and off of the ship. You use that basically for everything on your cruise. Now you can set it up so that your Magic Band Pluses or your Disney Band Pluses, if you buy them on the cruise or from the cruise, they're going to be called Disney Band Plus. That is the exact same thing as a Magic Band Plus. You can use these as your room key, or for anything, to pay for anything on the cruise, or to get on and off the cruise. You're going to use that exactly the same way as you would use your Key to the World cards. On the desktop website, you will log in and you can enter in your Disney Band or MagicBand information into your account beforehand, and that just makes everything easier. Then you don't have to go to guest services and get them to sign that up for you. If you don't do that beforehand, then absolutely bring them along, make sure they're charged up, and go to guest services and get them to add that to your account. And they can easily do that. We did that on our first one, our first cruise that we went on, but on this one, then I added our MagicBand Pluses to our account so that they were already set up and ready to go once we were on the ship, and we were able to actually use them at our room right away. We didn't have to do any kind of activation or anything like that. They were just ready to go, and they already knew it was attached to our account. So what can you expect prior to your Disney cruise? There's a lot of things going on that you're gonna have to do before you get onto the Disney cruise. You're gonna get a lot of emails. They're going to send you a lot of things. And you're going to have to book various things. So here's what you're gonna need to expect. You're going to have to put down a deposit when you book your Disney cruise. And then you're going to have to, if you choose this option, if you don't do it straight up front and pay for everything up front, you're going to have to make payments in intervals. And it's really important to make those payments on time. They're going to give you a schedule. Just make sure you make all those payments on time. And it is going to be probably, you're going to have to pay your cruise off probably sooner than you expect. They do give you a payment plan option, but I think that your whole payment has to be paid in full 90 days in advance. And it might even be more because we were a part of the Castaway Club membership already. So I think it's 90 days prior, but it might even be, I don't know if it's different for each cruise, but for ours I think it was exactly 90 days. And then once we were paid in full, we could pick our different port adventures, we could book all of our extras once we were paid in full. So that's kind of like your stepping stone, is you pay for your cruise in full, and then that is the time when you can start picking all of your extra stuff you want to do on the cruise. Okay, make sure that you are booking your extra stuff that you want to do on the cruise. So if you want to do those port adventures, make sure you're looking those up and doing some research on them. If you want to do your adults only dining, make sure you make those restaurant reservations. Beverage tasting classes, like I mentioned before. There's also a spa, so you can book what is called the rainforest room, where you go and it's essentially different steam rooms, and there's different showers with different temperatures, and there's hot tubs in some of the cruises. And this is an adults only area, and you have to book that in advance so that they know that you want to use that service. It is generally a standard set price for the entire cruise, and then you get unlimited access to that for the entire length of the cruise. We've done that for both cruises and we've enjoyed that. We just find that we can't get there as much as we want to get there because there is so much going on. So that's something to take into consideration too. If that's not something that's super important to you, then maybe that's not something that you need to book. You can also book your various spa services, I believe, as well. But then you also don't have to. You can also wait until you get onto your cruise. You just run the risk of not getting the services that you want when you want them. So look into that beforehand and make sure you decide what you want to do and book those early. One thing that I am not entirely sure about is needing to book babysitting. I think, and I've heard from different videos, that you might need to book babysitting if you have very young children that you're bringing on the cruise that you want to be supervised by the Disney staff. So I know that Kids Club, I don't think you need to do anything for that. That's fine. But I think if you want your infants babysat, then you might have to book that ahead of time. So make sure you look into that early enough so that you get a spot in that. So like a flight, you're going to need to check in for your Disney cruise. And this happens, it really depends on the cruise, I think. I think it's about 30 days prior. That's kind of what mine, I think that's kind of what mine was. Maybe it was later, I don't actually remember, but it will say on your Disney Cruise Line Navigator app when you're able to check in. The earliest you're able to check in, and you will get a notification about that, an email, when your check-in time is. And then you check in for your cruise. So for that, you're gonna need all the information for all your travelers. You're gonna need your documentation. So if you're gonna bring a passport, or you're gonna bring a different level of identification. If you don't have a passport, I'm not entirely sure what that process looks like, what you need. We've always used a passport. It's just the easiest method. And then you're gonna need to take pictures of those documents and upload them to Disney so that they can verify everything and all your information for you. Another thing that you're going to need to do that I always struggle with every single time is that you're going to need to have kind of a headshot of yourself. They use this as verification of your identity. So you need to find something that like doesn't cover your face. It's essentially kind of like an informal passport photo in a way. So I just struggle with this so much. I try and use selfies that we've had in the past, and like normally I'm checking into our cruise while my husband's not around. So I'm just like trying to find like old pictures that are gonna work of each of us. Last time I thought my picture was good. It got rejected. I think I had some hair in my face or something like that. You wanna make sure your face is clear. You wanna make sure it's from the shoulders up, and you wanna make sure that you're not wearing any kind of shirt that's gonna get you rejected. You wanna make sure that your eyes aren't covered, that your face isn't covered in any kind of way, and hopefully it goes through. If you get rejected, then you just have to submit again, and they're pretty quick. Like once you are rejected once, they're pretty quick about replying back once you submit your new photo. So make sure you have that. If you can have that ready to go, that would be good. This time my husband got rejected because I think he was wearing glasses that said his eyes were covered. So I just got him to stand in front of a blank wall, and I sent in something where his eyes were not covered, and he just took his glasses off, and then it worked. So yeah, I think that sometimes they just look for things to reject. I'm not sure if anyone's gotten through fine, but if you can have those ready to go beforehand, then that's always a helpful thing, so that you don't have to keep resubmitting different photos over and over again. Picking your embarkation time. This is very important. So check in as soon as you possibly can is my advice, because then you're going to be able to pick an earlier embarkation time. Not embarkation time, an earlier boarding time. I'm not sure. You're gonna be able to pick a earlier boarding time if you are checking in as early as possible. So your boarding time, I guess, will depend on when you arrive at your destination, when you arrive at your port of call. So that I guess you can pick depending on when you're planning on arriving. But my recommendation to you is arrive as early as you possibly can and get onto your cruise as early as you possibly can, because you get to experience all those cruise benefits as soon as you get onto the cruise. You're able to go and start eating food, drinking your unlimited pop, eating your unlimited ice cream as soon as you get on board, and experiencing the Disney magic and being in the Disney bubble as early as you possibly can. You want to get the most bang for your buck, so I recommend that you get onto your cruise as soon as you possibly can. Get the earliest boarding time that you possibly can is my recommendation. If you're, for whatever reason, getting to the port later, maybe you have a later flight, something like that, that's not something I recommend you doing. I recommend you be there the day before at the latest, because then you know you're almost guaranteed that you're going to be able to get to your port, and you're going to be able to get to your port on time, and you're going to make your cruise, because I have heard horror stories where people do not make their cruises because they're flying in day of. Don't be that person. We were also in a position of a 7-hour delay on our way back, and if that was the case on our way there, we would not have made it to our cruise, and that would have been detrimental to our trip. So please, please, please get there a day early, or try to at least, because then you're almost guaranteed that you are going to get to your port. Obviously nothing's a guarantee, but it's more likely that way. I would recommend you book the earliest time that you possibly can, get onto the cruise, get yourself comfortable. Your luggage is not going to be with you. You are going to give your luggage before you get onto the cruise ship, either to the people on the dock who are going to bring them onto the cruise for you. Or if you're taking Disney Transport, I will talk about this a little bit later, you're gonna be able to give your luggage to the Disney Transport people, and they will take care of it from wherever you are starting out, whether it's a hotel, whether it's the airport. You're gonna be able to just leave your luggage and not thinking about it, and just be able to get onto the ship just yourself, and your luggage will meet you at your room later, which is great, but also scary at the same time. So I think I'm going to go into Disney transportation on another video. I have a big opinion on transportation. I've done a lot of research on transportation, from MCO to Port Canaveral, from Anaheim, from LA, Anaheim to San Diego, and I think that I will just cover all of that in a different shorter video, so that we don't have to continue to go on longer with this video. A couple of last housekeeping things that I want to go over before you get onto your Disney cruise is that you are going to get luggage tags. You are either going to get luggage tags in the mail, and this can happen very soon before your cruise. This can happen, I would say, days before your cruise. This cannot happen at all because there's a Canada Post strike. You don't know the circumstances, but those luggage tags are supposed to come in the mail, and they did for our last cruise, I think the day before we were planning on leaving. So that was kind of weird to all of a sudden get these luggage tags. We had no idea what we were getting, and it was the last day, and we thought, okay, what would have happened if we didn't get them? And apparently it doesn't matter. If you do not get your luggage tags, once you get to your port, they will have extra luggage tags for you there. All your information is going to be printed onto your luggage tags that you get in the mail, so that's more convenient that way, but they definitely have extra luggage tags because the mail is not always the most reliable thing, and not everyone's gonna get their luggage tags on time. Like we experienced this last time. We did not get our luggage tags. We got to the airport to get onto our Disney transportation, and they were able to give us luggage tags there, which was very, very helpful. Didn't take much longer than what we would have done if we had our luggage tags, so that all went very, very smoothly. But keep that in mind. If you do not get your luggage tags, do not panic. You do not need to have those with you when you get to your port. The last thing is go over, before you get onto your cruise, before you get to your destination, make sure you go over the list of prohibited items. Make sure you know what you can and cannot bring onto the Disney cruise. That's just something you don't want to have to deal with. If you can avoid dealing with getting your luggage, I guess, searched. I don't know exactly the whole process, but I know that I've heard that people who have maybe prohibited items, they don't get their luggage until very late at night. And that's kind of nerve-wracking. You want to get your luggage as soon as you possibly can, and we haven't had an issue this last cruise. Our luggage did come a little bit later than we expected. I'm guessing it was just because it was probably one of the last luggage that arrived, or maybe it was the first luggage that arrived. That might be the problem. It was the first luggage that arrived and the last luggage out of the storage area. So it is what it is. You will get your luggage, but yeah, make sure you go over those lists of items, and keep in mind that if you are 21 years of age or older, you are able to bring alcohol onto the cruise. I think it is 6 cans of beer or 1 bottle of wine per person. It's not very much, but make sure you put that into your whatever bag that you are carrying on yourself, not the bag you're giving to the people at the dock, not the bag that you're giving to your Disney transport. If you put that into those bags, that is going to be flagged, and then you're going to have problems getting your bag, and you're going to get your bag late. They may confiscate your alcohol. Another thing is if they do confiscate something, I think you're left a note. I've heard this from other people. I think you're left a note, and then you can pick those items up when you get back to the port. So with that, I think that is all of the housekeeping things and all of the things that you need to know when you're booking a Disney cruise. If I think of anything else, I will include that in the next video. In my next video, I'm gonna go over Disney Transport. And Disney Transport is one of those things that you do have to book. You can't book online, which is really weird. You do have to book it over the phone if you plan on taking it. And I will go over all those details next time when I talk about transportation that we've taken to get to our cruises. I just think that this video has gone on way too long already. So with that, everybody, that was a lot of information, a lot of talking. I apologize for this video. I just feel like there's so much housekeeping and so much you have to be aware of when you're booking a Disney cruise, and I wanted to make you guys aware of those things. So if you have any questions or you want any additional information, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, and obviously I'm planning on making more of these videos, so if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and you'll get to see the whole works of videos that I'm planning to do for this last trip going on our Disney cruise. And then also just any future travel videos that I have as well. You'll be able to see them if you subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that, and it would really support me for future videos to come. Thank you so much for watching again. I really, really appreciate it. If you have any ideas for videos, feel free to put them in the comments. I really appreciate your feedback. I really appreciate your input. And we will see you next time when we talk about the different transportations you can take from MCO to Port Canaveral, and I'll also talk about the transportation that we ended up taking from LA to Anaheim to San Diego, which was a very fun thing for me to book and a very fun thing for me to figure out. And I'm excited to share that with you. So with that, we will see you guys next time. Thank you again. Bye.